All right, guys, what's up? We're here. We're live. We're only about 10 minutes late. You guys know us. If we're on time, that's weird. You shouldn't expect us to be on time. But we're here. Joey Ingram 1, a.k.a. Chicago Joey, back for a new Poker Live podcast, the second this week. If you missed the earlier episode we had this week, we had the infamous Jungle Man on. And Jungle Man's girlfriend was on for quite a long time, too. And then I talked about having this guest on for a little bit of time now. The time has finally arrived. We have my friend Jim, a.k.a. ZepHendrix on PokerStars back in the day. Also posts as Jimmyv313 on 2+2. Jimmy, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Joey.
Well, welcome to the live stream. I'm glad you can make it. I'm glad you could be here. And for those that don't know who you are, I'm going to explain a bit about who you are. Because there's some people, mainly PLO people or something like that, that are going to be confused who you are. Like, who's this guy, ZepHendrix? Let me tell you about this guy, ZepHendrix. So when I first started playing poker back in 2008, I was posting in the microstakes full ring forums, and there was always this guy, also from Chicago, who was posting in the higher stakes forums or smaller stakes, mid stakes, and he appeared to do really well. His win rate on poker table ratings tracking site was always really good. He'd always hit Supernova Elite. He'd always be complaining in the forums about something, and he'd also be working like a million hours going to school. I don't know. This was I couldn't believe it. I was like, how does this guy do it? He's like it doesn't make sense. Honestly, it still doesn't make sense to me. And one of the BBV threads he posted on 2+2 was a thing where he got Supernova Elite on PokerStars. He got black card status on Full Tilt, which was essentially you had to grind a lot. And then he got whatever the Supernova Elite equivalent status was on Serious/Alternate Bet/Absolute. I'm not exactly sure which one it was. Which basically means this guy's fucking insane. And he still had a good win rate, and he had a job. He likes to drink. He likes to be smart. He likes to go to school. I don't know, man. What's up? Is that an accurate description? Did I describe you quite well?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I was, I was primarily a stars grinder for 3 years, and then that whole time I was working full time and going to grad school at the University of Chicago at night, and then getting Supernova Elite. And then when I kind of stopped playing on stars, only on stars, I started playing on UV and Full Tilt, and obviously I played enough to get the highest whatever VIP level was on all those sites.
And so obviously when people think about these guys, these Supernova Elites, these mass tablers and all these sites, they usually put that with break even or not a winning poker player. But for you, contrary to some of the posts you might have made sometimes complaining about running bad, you're actually at a pretty good win rate for the most part of your poker career. Is that correct?
Yeah. When I started, I was break even. I started at 50-cent dollar in 2007, and I was break even. Well, I won there, and then I moved to 1-2 and won a little and started breaking even, and then I got into grad school, and I decided that if I was going to keep playing poker, because I was so busy, I was working, I was going to grad school, and I just said, okay, I need to make way more money at this, or it's not going to be worth my time, right? So what did I do? I moved up to mid stakes because I couldn't make the money I cared about at 1-2, and I think I broke even there for 3 months, and then things just started to click, and I started doing a lot better, and ever since then I've been a winning player.
Man, so you were going to school and working during this time period. So you were doing these things and going to school and working.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I really don't know how I did it, especially looking back on it. I'm a lot older now.
How old are you right now, Jim?
I'm 30.
30. Okay, you're older than me. We're so old, kid. This is how it feels to get old. How are you feeling getting old, man?
I feel old. Like, I try to work out, and I get hurt doing random stuff that I shouldn't get hurt doing. It's just you'll just be walking and you'll just tweak something for no reason, and that's pretty much what getting old is. That and grunting every time you stand up or sit down.
Well, you're also kind of in a way married now, right?
Yeah, I am married. I got married in May.
Right. I was actually kidding. I thought you were just in a long-term relationship. You're actually married. Okay.
I'm actually married.
I was like, wait, I'm just kidding. He's actually not married. He's just got a, well, so married. Now you're married. Now you're living in Chicago. You've been living in Chicago for a bunch of years now, right?
Yeah, since I graduated, so I've been here 8 years.
So what are you kind of up to right now? You got a full-time job. You got a wife. You playing poker still. I know you're staking. You do some kind of stuff like that. What's your what are you up to now?
Yeah, still doing all of that. I'm married, so that's like new and different. I just started a new job actually. So I worked at the same company for 8 years. I basically graduated college, started working like a month later, and worked at that company until February. And our group got shut down, and I mean, like you just said, all the stuff I had been doing for the past 5 years or whatever, I was pretty burnt out, so I took some time. I actually started playing a ton of poker again while I was looking for my job. So like basically it was like 3 months until I'd get married, and I just took the time to kind of a little Zep time, a little time for myself because I hadn't had that in a while. And that's when I started playing poker again. Now I'm working again. I got a new job. I'm working a ton of hours. I'm working like at least 50 hours a week, sometimes 60, in like a high stress, like high paced job. So that's really taken it out of me. I haven't really played since I started. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on. Still in Chicago, still in the same place.
So I'm looking at the comments. We are live streaming this as always, guys, and comments, questions are always welcome in the chat. I don't think Jim has the chat open, but I do have the chat open here. Of course, Tim Stone says hello. Of course, Tim. We all know our boy Tim. Dylan Duvall, who I think you're familiar with as well. He says hello. And I'm trying to see if there's any other. I usually put these in the small stakes forum as well when I have a guy who used to post in those forums on, but I didn't put it in there this time. So they're gonna have to watch us on delay. They're not gonna be able to ask any live comments or live questions. So.
That's cool.
So you said you played about a 3-month time period. Was that playing online or were you playing live?
Yeah, I was playing online. I actually played live last weekend. It was the first time I had played, or 2 weeks ago. It was the first time I had played since the World Series 2013. So I
the time I saw you there when you were like at the RA all day long, and I was like, "Do you want to go do something?" You're like, "No."
Yeah, Supernova Elite at RA.
I remember that. I'd come down. I wasn't playing at all. I'm like, "Hey, you want to go get something to eat or do something?" You're like, "Nah, I'm just like gonna play. I'm gonna play for 20 hours."
I literally woke up, walked downstairs, started the 10-20 game until I couldn't sit there anymore. I'd go upstairs and sleep for like 4 to 6 hours and go there the next day and do it again. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to party. I wanted it to be a business trip, and that's what it was.
You didn't want to drink?
No.
Wow, that must have been fucking serious if you weren't drinking because.
Yeah, it was. The years before I'd go and I'd bring a buddy with me and he'd stay in my room or whatever, and then we'd go out and just party way too much, and I'd play no poker. If I played cash, I don't know, I played for an hour or two and then went out drinking. So I didn't want to do that again because it wasn't I wasn't going out there to play poker, which is what you should do for the World Series. It's the best time to play live. So that's what I did that year, and it was a good decision. I was happy I did that.
I mean, in a way, what you just said is kind of like an oxymoron because you said it's the best time to play live. That's kind of like we love big girls around here, so it's kind of like the best big girl in a room full of big girls. It's kind of.
All right, I agree with that.
It's it's okay. It's whatever. But I know you're not really into big girl grinding, are you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we like them 160 or above here.
That's not that big.
Nope. Well, I mean, your wife's a pretty tiny, petite woman, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can see the King of Chicago, Jimmy V. I call you the King of Chicago. For those who don't know, I call him the King of Chicago. I don't know when this started. I think it's because he always just had. I don't know. Why did I start calling you the King of Chicago?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't really remember why that. Why did I
don't remember when that started or why that started or any of that, but.
I don't remember why. I thought I was the King of Chicago, Jimmy V. I don't know fucking why I said it. I don't know. I literally say it all the time now. I don't even say it. I'm talking to myself. I just say the King of Chicago for some reason. I mean, it makes no sense. But Marty's in the house. What's up, Marty? Marty Rose. Biggie Smalls on PokerStars. I don't know if he still plays. So, were you playing online for those 3 months? What site were you playing on? Untracked Euro site?
Yeah, mainly.
An untracked Euro, is it like not a confirmed site you were playing on? A secret site?
Yeah, it was like janky sites all over the place. I was moving around a lot and just trying to hit and run different sites. So it wasn't like a serious thing. Like it sucked for me because I wanted to like 20 table decent stakes or like 10 table 510 or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like I could never get, you know, I can't play on stars. I can't like VPN and do that because I don't want to get like blackballed from stars when they hopefully eventually come back to the U.S. You know. So yeah, I didn't want to risk that, and like I don't want to go through another Black Friday where I lose a bankroll, you know. So like I couldn't do it the way I wanted to do it, and it kind of sucked. So that's why I never really got fully back into it.
So did you put a small amount on these sites where you can only play a couple tables on, and then you kind of just took it from there? But I mean, I know, like you said, knowing you wanted to play a lot of tables, you wanted to play higher stakes, and did you feel like you were playing well, or do you feel like you were kind of tilted because you couldn't quite do it the way you wanted to do it?
I was definitely playing well. I wasn't tilted that I couldn't play on the sites I wanted to, but I was just like I knew I could be doing a lot better. Like I knew if I moved to Canada and did something like that, like really went after it, I would make a lot more money. But I hadn't played online in so long that it was really enjoyable. So it was hard to complain. It was hard to like be upset when I lost because I was just happy to be playing again, you know. Mm-hmm. Plus I was playing PLO, which
PLO. Wait, let me put up in my seat real quick. PLO, tell me more.
I'm a PLO right now, man. I can't go back to Hold'em.
You're playing PLO now?
Yeah, that's like all I play. So in like, when was it? About 3 years ago, the big game at my casino, the Horseshoe in Hammond, I'm sure you know it, that turned into a 10-20 PLO game, it's a big game. And like the 10-20, 10-25 Hold'em stopped running basically because nobody played. Anyone who sat in that game now played the PLO. So I kind of either had to. I wasn't going to play the 5-10 there. It's terrible. It's like the hourly's not worth it. You know, it's boring. It's all like nut hunting regs who like seat jump every time someone sits up. It's so annoying. So I wasn't going to do that. So I pretty much had to learn PLO, and I'm very happy that happened because I love PLO. And yeah, I don't see myself ever going back to Hold'em really.
I gotta be honest. I would love to see you put in like 6 months on Stars Online while posting on 2+2 because I feel like we'd get some pretty epic rants by you.
Well, keep in mind I know I complain a lot, and I know that I'm known for that.
You complain more than anybody ever.
Oh, I know.
I'm always looking.
Joe, keep in mind that I was like losing my mind, especially at the end of the like Supernova Elite. I mean, my typical day was like wake up at 6, go straight to work till 5, maybe work out if I'm like feeling amazing that day, then go to class. If you never sat in class for 3 hours after working for 10, you don't understand. It's like college times like 50 as far as annoyance goes, okay? And then I go home and I would grind until like midnight or whenever I couldn't stand it anymore. And then I go to bed and do it again. And I did that for 3 years straight. So I'll admit I bitched a lot, but I was losing my mind that whole time.
But okay, so to follow up on that, the bitching part, it was interesting. I'd always like look you up and be like, oh, he must be on a big downswing, and then you'd be like career peaking like 600 up 700,000 on PTR. I was like, oh, okay. I can't feel too bad about this.
Yeah, I mean, I had no justification for complaining.
No, it makes sense. You're tired.
I would get so like strung out. It would basically be like I'd get so strung out that like I couldn't handle any disruption in the force. So I'd be like having a good month, like not a great one, not a bad one. I'd be like up, and I'd have like 2 losing days, and like get unlucky a couple times, and I would just like flip out because I just like couldn't handle it.
Mm.
You know, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but just imagine being like so freaking tired that you can barely function, and like something doesn't go your way, and it just like bothers you so much more than it should. You know, that's how I was for like 2 years.
I think I've found when I get to that point, things just don't bother me at all in a way. But when I get to that point, it's only I get that tired from only playing like 16-hour days poker. So it's not like if I'm doing this and doing that, I'm going here, I'm thinking about 5 different things. When you're doing something like what you were doing, you're thinking about how to do well in class, how to do well at a job, how to do well at poker, how to do well at staking, how to do well at like 5 or 6 different things. So your mind's everywhere. And I mean, so why did you do it? What was like the motivation at this point in time? Is it just the money? Is it like what the fuck are you thinking? 3 years or like what was the?
I could actually tell you exactly what I was thinking because I debated over this for so long. But basically, what happened was I was making like not a lot of money, but good money for me at the time because I wasn't like making a ton at my job, and I was grinding 1-2 and playing tournaments and stuff. And I actually banked the Sunday mulligan that year. So like one day I made like basically my salary on a Sunday night. So like I was doing well at poker, but not like nothing crazy, right? And by far that was like an outlier, right? That didn't happen all the time. Mm-hmm. So anyways, so I was doing well at poker. I think that year I actually made more at poker than at my job. So all right, poker's going well, but I really liked my job. I was learning a ton. I was like learning to program, learning to trade. I was gaining responsibility, like, I don't know, every day. And it was awesome. So I didn't want to quit that, and I found out that I got this program talking in my ears, and I can't talk while it's playing. Okay, so let me regain my thought process.
We're talking about why you decided. You said there was a point you knew the reason why you decided to work that hard.
Right. Sorry, my email program started reading off an email to me and totally. Okay. So I found out my work would pay for grad school. Okay. Which, depending on where you go, can be worth a lot of money. So I decided I would take the GMAT and try to get in to either University of Chicago or Kellogg, which is Northwestern's program, because those are both great programs. Mm-hmm. And I said, if I can't get in there, I won't do it, whatever. So I studied for like a month. And keep in mind, my undergrad grades were terrible. Like I had under a 3.0 GPA in undergrad. So like I knew I had to crush the GMAT to get into either of those schools. So I studied for like a month or two, and I did really well on it. My score was like a 760, I think, which is like 99th percentile. So like after I got that score back, I knew I could go wherever I wanted. So I like applied to Booth. I got in. So now here I am making more at poker than at work. I got a job that I love, and I'm about to start grad school for free in a program that costs $100,000, and it's like one of the best schools in the country. So my thought process at that time was, okay, I need to make a little more than what I'm making now to justify this, because like I knew like playing poker was going to take away from my school, it was going to take away from my sleep, it was going to take away from my work, take away from my social life. So I was like, okay, I need to be better for this to be worth it. So that's when what I was talking about earlier happened, where like it just kind of clicked, and I started making like a shit ton of money, and then I really couldn't quit poker, and I don't know, if anything was ever going to give, it was going to be work. Because school was only going to be like a 2.5-year program. And if I quit work, I could have taken more classes, whatever. So I contemplated quitting like probably 10 times. Like seriously, like, am I going to go to work next week type stuff. And I just never. The other thing that was always going through my mind was, how long is poker going to be around, right? Because the games were getting tougher every year. I mean, guys like me who came out of nowhere, like I just popped up and started beating like mid stakes for a good clip. And there were guys like me coming around like every 6 months who like really hurt the games. And like regs that were like crushers like 2 years before were like losing every day, and you could see that on PTR, And then the whole like legal, like, was it legal, was it not? Like Are they gonna let U.S. players deposit? All that stuff was up in the air. So there were a lot of factors to consider at the time.
So Black Friday happens. What are you currently doing at that time? You're working. You're still doing pretty well at poker. What's your mindset when that happens? Are you thinking about you contemplating moving at all, or you decided, all right, well, this might be a blessing in disguise, sort of thing?
Yes and no. It it sucked a lot because I had like half my net worth on those three sites. Those were the three sites I was playing on that got shut down, and I was obviously extremely worried about that. And then I was actually I had my best staking stable ever. Like I had so many bosses that were like awesome, and I was projected to have my best year ever. I definitely think I would have. So that was going up. That was going really well too. So like, and then I couldn't play as well. So like, I knew right off the bat it was going to cost me a ton of money. But then, like you said, would this ultimately be a good thing? I thought there was definitely a chance it would be because I was almost done with school. I think I had like 2 quarters left. Yeah, because I graduated that year. So yeah, I was almost done with school. I don't know. Yeah, it was one of those things where I thought it would cost me a lot of money, but I thought it could also make my life a lot more enjoyable.
So looking back from that point, did it make it more enjoyable? Do you wish that you would have maybe moved out of the country and pursued poker? Are you happy with the route you took? I mean, you seem like the kind of guy who's going to embrace your situation, whatever it is. So I think at this point, you're probably happy with the situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy. I had already met my wife at the time, and we talked about moving. We like visited Toronto. We talked about doing the Malta thing. You said Tim Stone is in the chat. I talked to Tim Stone about renting his place out. Like we were seriously considering it. But again, it was like, how long is poker gonna be around? Like, can I keep beating the games? Like I knew my edge was shrinking for sure. Like my win rate was going down, and then like the end of Black Friday was 2011. The end of 2010, I finished on a massive downswing. I mean, it was the worst of my career. I mean, I finished the year plus, like without rake back, plus a lot actually. But I mean, I was not like as confident as I was about my game like 6 months prior, you know. So there again a lot of things to consider. Do I wish I had taken a shot? I mean, I always think I will. Like, part of me will always wish that I took that shot and like, you know, could I be Nano Noko? Like, I know I can play as much as him. I know I've had like periods where I wanted his win rate playing like super sick volume, like super tired. Like, could I have done that? I don't know. And it'll always bug me that I never found out, but I always knew that would be the case, and I always factored that into my decision. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I remember you wasn't there. No, there was one time.
I just lost audio.
Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you now.
Okay. No, I said there was one time that you shot took at 2550. You like I don't know what happened, but you just kind of like. Do you remember that?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
So
you were. Can you just explain that? That was like I mean that was obviously super fun for me to personally rail and for everyone else in the community to rail because we were all like this is awesome. But it was like what were the circumstances of that?
Okay. So this was mental breakdown number one, where so was it December? Yeah, it was no. Okay, so what had happened was it was 2009, the first year I got elite. So my first year like really going nuts, like working, school, Supernova elite. And the next year started, I was like, okay, I'll take some time off, get my head right, and start crushing again. So I did that, took a little time off, started grinding, just like lost every day, like just couldn't win. Okay, so I start to be like, basically, fuck poker. Like I didn't want to do it anymore. I was burnout. Like I had a good year. I made a bunch of money. I was like, all right, I'm gonna I'm gonna roll up the stakes, go to 25-50, sit in every game. Anyone who wants to play me heads up, bring it on, and let's go. So I don't know, I just did it, and I think I sat like Human and ADZ and a couple other guys heads up, and then like the games filled, and I was playing with like all the best players at the time. It was so dumb, and I ran like 35 grand under EV and lost 35 grand, something like that, and posted that I was quitting poker and stopped playing.
And then what made you come back?
No, nobody quits poker. I made it like 2 months, and then I really missed it. And so I made it 2 months, and then I was like, oh shit, my Supernova Elite's gonna run out because they give you 2 months of like leeway where you don't have to get the whatever 50K points. So like I just went into super grind mode and did nothing but play, and because I only had like 2 weeks to get my month's quota or whatever. Anyways, I saved it, and I ended up getting Supernova Elite again that year. But I mean, I really needed some time off. I mean, like mindset is, I would argue, the most important thing about poker. And for like at least half of my career, when I was like seriously playing, I had just terrible mindset, and it really hurt me.
It kind of relates to a question someone in the chat just asked. Sjord, what's up, buddy? He says, can you ask him about reading the poker mindset? I read it changed his poker vision completely.
Yeah. So basically,
the poker mindset. Is that the Jared Tendler book?
Yeah. So that book, I mean, there's nothing special in that book. I mean, at the time, I had never like thought about some of the concepts in there, but like all that stuff is on 2+2, and like it's nothing special. But my problem was that I would like lose a hand, and then I would tilt, and then just like give away all my profits. And this happened like not every day, but it happened all the time. And as a professional, like you need to minimize those kind of events, you know, hopefully to the point where they don't exist. I mean, I know plenty of guys who like never do that, and I was doing that like weekly, more than weekly. So basically what happened was I read that book, and like just the concept of like poker in life is one big session, and like it doesn't matter whether or not you win the hand, it matters like whether or not you made the right play. I mean, like those concepts were like foreign to me. I'm not kidding. And when you take like a guy like me who's like really good at math and good at like analyzing situations and pattern recognition, and then you're like, okay, and poof, now you have the right mindset. Go. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. And it turned me from like breaking even for 3 months to like being one of the like just making money every single month. I think I had a couple losing months after that, but they were few and far between.
Interesting. I have to check this book out. Yeah, The Mental Game. So the Poker Mindset is actually a different book than the one I was thinking about, which was The Mental Game of Poker by Jared Tendler.
Yeah. Who wrote that book?
It looks like some people I've never heard of, Matthew Hilger and Ian Taylor.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's nothing that good in that book, but just like, I don't know, I basically told myself, I don't know if you were in the forums at this point, but before like I started winning, I was like, I think I fixed my mindset, and I'm gonna make 25 grand a month. And everybody laughed at me, which I would have laughed at me too. But I was like, I think I like fixed my mindset. Like, I'm gonna make like a lot of money. I literally put out 25 grand a month, and everybody laughed. And then a month later, I posted my graph, and I was up like 26 grand that month. And I don't know, everything changed after I read that book. Everything.
Interesting. It's a little more strat than we're used to around here on the live podcast, but someone said you look like Jason Mercier's older brother or father. You do, though.
That's good.
You really do look like you're Jason Mercier's older brother or something. Which I don't know if have you ever gotten that before?
No.
Yeah. I don't think so. You don't look as raggedy. He sometimes looks. He's a little bit raggedy when he's playing. You where did you meet your girlfriend at?
We were actually set up on a blind date. So my aunt, she worked for the Chicago Metropolitan Battered Women's Network, and my aunt volunteered there a couple times a week. And they were just talking about whatever, and she was like, "I want to set you up with my nephew. He's like in grad school, he's got a good job. You should talk to him." And I got her number and called her, and we went out, and yeah, just started like that.
So what year was this? When was this?
Let's see, 2010. Yeah, early 2010, I think.
Okay, so how did you find adding this new element into your life? How did you find that worked with your current schedule and your current approach to poker and to your job and to school?
That was like the straw that broke the camel's back, basically. Um, what's that?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, that was like the thing that was too much. I already was maxed out. Like I had no free time, and then at first we weren't, it wasn't serious, and we were hanging out. But once we started like getting serious, it was, like any legitimate relationship is. It's like you spend a lot of time, and I was happy to spend time with her, obviously, but like I didn't have as much time to play, and I couldn't play every day now. That was one thing that like really hurt my game. Was like taking days off was terrible for my game. I tried to never take a day off. Like even if I couldn't put in a super session, I tried to get in for an hour just to like stay well oiled, so to say. So like when that started happening, that's when my results like really nosedived. And it wasn't the worst thing ever. Like I'm not like unhappy that it happened, obviously, but like everything, like school suffered, work never really suffered. I always put work first, but my school suffered and my poker suffered, and honestly, our relationship suffered. Like I know I wasn't as good of a boyfriend as I could have been. I mean, she was dating a guy who had like 100 hours a week worth of commitments, predefined every single week. So It was hard. It was definitely hard.
And I asked that because I wonder if you thought that had a correlation to, because I know that I wasn't sure what year you met her, but I know before that you were pretty single for the most part. You were kind of focused on what you were doing. So what I've kind of found is that sometimes when I introduce a serious woman as an element into my life, I don't quite get as much done or have as much success at what I'm doing. So I was curious for you if you found that was the case when it came to poker, if that once you introduce this new element, it's taking up your mindset, you're thinking about her, she wants to hang out, you want to come over, the weekends you're hanging out with her instead of playing like you used to. Did you feel like your results suffered from maybe because of that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, anytime my time was spread so thinly at that point that like anything that I had to do in a given week would mess with my results. Like I said, like if I took a day off, that was really bad for my game. So I tried to never do that, but that became a regular occurrence. Like I would go like a couple days without playing, or like we'd go somewhere for a weekend and I wouldn't play for like the entire weekend, which is when I like did my best usually. So there's no doubt that hurt my results. But that was a trade-off I was happy to make at the time.
Yeah. So do you think that, I mean, I would think that you being in this relationship for a long time now, that's probably one of the reasons why you're still settled down, living in Chicago, at your job, seemingly, kind of content to do what you're doing.
That could be a part of it. I mean, my wife is super supportive, so I mean, when we've talked about moving, I mean, she's never said I don't want to, like I'm not going to do that for you or anything like that. She was actually quite the opposite. So, that's never been a hindrance. It's been more of a thing where we were like, all right, what do we want to do? Where do we want to be in 5 years? Like, where do we want to be in 3 years? Where do we want to be in 10 years? Like, can we go to Malta for 6 months or 3 months or whatever that time period is, and then go to Canada for 6, and then maybe do London. Like, is that something that sounds good to us right now? Do we want to miss the summer in Chicago? Like, do we want to live a life where we don't have any sort of stable income? You know, those are the questions we ask ourselves, and I don't know. It was always close. Like, we legitimately considered it a lot of times.
Do you ever think in the future coming up here, it might be like a little trip? Like, well, I mean, you can't really take a trip with your career. So what exactly is your career? I don't think we've even established that. What is your actual job?
Okay, so right now, yeah, right now.
Yeah, right now. What's your job?
I just changed jobs. So my whole career I've worked in the trading industry. Right now I'm working as a trade support engineer for a high frequency trading group. So basically my job now is to configure and deploy all the technology basically of the firm and make sure that it works. So all day long we're making sure stuff keeps running, and when it doesn't run, we're the people like in the trenches fixing it. And it's like, obviously it's a very high stress environment because when stuff's not working and the firm can't trade, it's costing them tons of money because the fixed costs and variable costs of being an electronic trader they're very high. So that's what I do now. I do a lot of programming, and yeah.
So I'm assuming this sounds like the type of job that might make a decent amount of money.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Potentially more than poker might make you at this current moment in time.
It's debatable.
Debatable. You think you'd be in the 5, 10, 10, 20 PLO streets on Poker Stars?
No.
No?
I do not think I would be in those games. I think I could get to those games. Potentially. I'm not saying like I could 100%, oh, I just need 3 months and then I'd be there. But I think I could definitely do that. I think I would like start off at like 1-2 Zoom or something. I was playing like 2-4 to 5-10. Oh, I was playing 50 cent 1 to 5-10 on the sites I was playing before, and beating them up pretty good. But I mean, it's obviously nothing like Stars, right? That's like those sites compared to Stars are like live poker compared to Stars, you know.
Ben asks, what up, Ben? He says, what languages do you program in?
Right now I use, our whole group uses Perl and JavaScript and HTML and, you know, SQL and stuff like that. But before this I used primarily Ruby. So those are the languages I know.
I think I've studied a bit of programming when I was interested in that, but so I learned that what exactly kind of general what things are, but it became, I was kind of got a little bit too obsessed with learning about it, so I had to stop learning about it because I don't know. Do you find that I guess you probably really enjoy doing this type of stuff, right?
Oh, I love it. Coding is like one of my favorite things, and it's actually kind of funny because I have no computer science education. I have no formal technology education. Like everyone in my group is an engineer or a computer science master or doctorate in those things, PhD. And I have like a finance degree, and I'm on this team, like supporting like some of the best technology in trading in Chicago. So like that stuff is so new to me, and every time, like for example, I had never used Perl before I started this job, and that's all we use, so I had to learn it. And for me, getting to learn at work is like my favorite thing. That's one of the reasons like my last job I really started to not like is because I stopped learning, and that's a really toxic environment for a person like me. So this new job, I'm like loving it. I'm learning all this new stuff. I'm like learning tech stuff, learning new languages, and yeah, it's been great.
So how did you end up finding this job? So you're working at that last job for 8 years. How did you end up getting this job you're at now? As you said, the other people seem to have a bit, their qualifications or credentials, so to say, seem to be a bit different than what you have. So how did you end up getting this particular job then?
So in my job before this, I was like the jack of all trades kind of guy. Like I had no expertise in anything, but like I had been there so long that I knew the system and the trades as well as everyone. So like I was the guy who like I was the glue guy, right? I held it all together. Like whatever needed to be done, I did. So that's how I like picked up all these skills that were not necessarily like something that I got taught in school, right? So when I interviewed at this place, you know, I told them, I'm like, I've done trade support before. Like I was basically the lead trade support guy for my group, but it was something that I only did for like a fraction of my day because I was working for one group where, you know, when you work for one group, yeah, you have problems, but not as often as my job now where I'm supporting the whole firm's technology, which has, you know, X groups in it. And it's a lot easier for problems to come up when you're supporting that kind of stuff. So anyways, I told them, you know, I've done this kind of work, but I'm not a computer science guy, but I'm a guy who picks things up fast. Like everything that I have on my resume, I learned on the job, right? Because I mean, my undergrad degree was like, they don't teach you anything in college. It's such a waste. I mean, it's really fun, but like it's not worth the price, and people don't really learn anything. Everything I learned on the job. So I said, anything that you throw at me, I'm confident I'll be able to learn, and I got the job.
Did poker happen to play a factor in anything, or was that brought up, or was it discussed?
Yeah. I mean, I bring it up at every interview at a finance place. I'm like, I'm also I'm formerly like a professional poker player, and I remember the first guy I said it to at the place I work now. He's now my boss. He goes, we got so many fucking poker players here. I was like, oh, okay, so that gets me nothing.
So wait, there's one particular place in Chicago that a lot of poker players are working at. Is that potentially the one?
No. There's a lot of poker guys where I'm at, but I think Susquehanna is the place you're thinking of. If you've played online poker, they'll like hire you. From what I hear.
Yeah, there's like 8 guys that I know that you'd be friends with or I'm friends with now that all work at the same place.
Might be Pete. I don't know. There's a bunch. I mean, poker and electronic trading online poker and electronic trading are so highly correlated as far as skill sets you need to succeed that like every finance place has poker players. And it might be that they hired a bunch of poker players after Black Friday, or it might be that finance guys like playing poker. But one way or another, there's a huge overlap.
Tim Stone asks, he needs a new seat script. Can you code for him? Can you code one for Tim Stone?
I've always wanted to develop like a poker program that did X or did Y. I remember to answer your question, no. What I really wanted, like before Black Friday, was like a program that could be like Table Ninja across multiple sites, because like the 5-10 games were drying up, and I really needed those hotkeys to play. Like without that, I feel like naked. You know when you wear a watch for like 3 years and then you don't wear it for your day and you feel really uncomfortable. That's how I felt like playing on Ultimate Bet and like Full Tilt.
You also probably could feel like you're never going to see this money on Ultimate Bet. I think Ultimate Bet at that time was still kind of sketchy.
Oh yeah, it was super sketchy. The thing about Ultimate Bet is like I put a couple grand on there to like mess around, and the games were so comically bad that I just like it was so fun to play. Like it was hard to lose. Like I won every day pretty much. It was ridiculous. Like the fish were like you just had to make like second pair and you were taking a stack. And like the regs, if you just 3-barreled, they would fold every time. And it was like that's all I did. I just like made second pair better or like 3-barreled regs. And I just like it was so much fun. I couldn't lose if I tried.
Did you ever play with a screen name on that site called Trade by Day?
No. I was Humphreys McGee on that site.
You were Humphreys McGee?
Yeah. I didn't play long. I only played a couple months there, but I ran it up really quick.
From Ultimate Bet.
It was fun. I like I said, I did it just to like mess around a little bit, and then I like kind of got serious about it because it was so easy. So.
Did you ever get any of that money?
No. I mean, I got some of it off. I think I traded like a couple days before Black Friday. I got so lucky. But yeah, I mean, 75% of what I won on that site, I lost on Black Friday, which is pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Someone in the comments asked, why doesn't Brian M15 play cash more? I believe Brian M15 plays tournaments.
Oh, man. I remember he's the only time I've ever straight flush, nut flushed a person before, and it was like super deep. I'll never forget it. It's the only time it's ever happened. Like I don't know if you remember like hands like I do, but I remember like every big hand I've ever played. But yeah, Brian M15, straight flush versus nut flush. He's like a sicko MTT reg now. Like I think he's a top 10 guy on.
Right. I think I read Pistons 87. He put something on Twitter today for MTT power rankings, and I believe he had Brian M15 number 1 on that list. So I'm assuming he focuses most of his time on tournaments right now.
Yeah, I know that he does. Yeah, he's really good. He's a talented guy. I mean, he was a great player in my games back in the day.
Yeah, I remember him. Marcus 85, I remember him too.
Oh, man. Marky Mark. That's my dude. You know he lived like 3 blocks or 6 blocks down from me?
Did you guys ever hang out?
Yeah. He lived right down the street.
Who was that one? Who was the one guy that liked drugs and the Bud 99999? You remember him?
Oh yeah, the Bud. Yeah.
Do you still talk to these guys, the Bud or Marcus?
I used to talk to Mark all the time, but now he lives in Asia and I never hear from him or see him. The Bud I haven't talked to in like 3 years or something.
Fucking the Bud. Do you still talk to anybody from poker?
Yeah, once in a while, not a ton. Marty once in a while, and I drop Sparks a line every once in a while, see how his quest to take over a new venture is going. But yeah, other than that, I don't talk to people all that much. Just my stakes.
He's talking about Chris Sparks. Go muck yourself. We had him on a podcast a couple weeks ago. That was a very well received episode for sure.
Yeah, you can't go wrong talking to Sparks.
No, I definitely agree. You said you stake. So I might as well talk about this briefly while we're talking about stakes. So there's a thread. Obviously, this is the topic of the day on 2+2, and it's in News Use Gossip. The title is Stars Reg Problem / Michael Gregory / Possible It Can't Beat. Stars Reg Problem's obviously a regular on the live streams that you guys know. He scammed Alexo 18, our Chilean mining friend whose parents own a Chilean mining company in South America, for $20,000. And so I'm going to ask you if this has ever happened to you. I guess they got to know each other from Twitter, from the forums or something. Just Stars Reg Problems posts like he's in the community and he wants to be a high stakes player and that type of thing. So he asked for some type of stake on 888 Poker, and I guess Alexo was like, yeah, sure. In your staking experience, do you ever have something like that happen where you form a relationship with someone from the forums or that you might know of from somehow, and then they ask to get staked, and you're just like, okay, here you go?
The first part, yes. The second part, no. I've been doing this way too long to like let a situation like that affect my decision making. Just because, like, I don't know. I've staked a friend before, and it didn't go well, and I've staked non-friends a lot, and you know, a good percentage of the time that doesn't go well. So, like, as far as like my decision making before I make a commitment to someone to stake them, like, I would never just stake someone because I know them or because they're my friend. I would actually be far less likely to.
You staked a mutual friend of ours, BDD, aka Big Dick Derek, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was an awesome stake. He was the best kind of stake. I don't know if he'll like me talking about this, but I'll talk about it anyways. He is like one of the most talented stakes I've ever had, but he was like such a degenerate. And all my best stakes, every stake is different, right? But most people fall into one of 3 categories. I shouldn't be giving staking tips like this, but I'm going to anyways because I think it's interesting. They don't have the money to play. They don't have the balls to play the stakes they want to, or they're a total degenerate. One of those 3 things.
What's number 1?
They don't have the money to play the games they want to play. Usually 1 and 3 go hand in hand, but sometimes guys are like, I'm a 50-cent dollar guy and I win at 4 PT, but like I have to spend like $5,000 a month in bills and I want to play one too. Like sometimes that happens. Anyways, Derek was category 3, insanely talented and a total degen. So, like, teaching him to, like, not be a degen was such an uphill battle. But, like, once he started to, like, get it, he was just so good. And we had a great deal. And he made a ton of money, and I did really well. And, yeah, we both, like, complimented each other a lot. So, yeah, that was a great steak. I was really happy. I forget who introduced me to him, but I know he was friends with, like, some of our friends. But I had never met him before I staked him. But yeah, great dude, great poker player too.
Yeah, we hung out a lot in San Diego, and we actually came up with a contest that this might not be the appropriate podcast to talk about the contest we came up with. Okay, so me and Derek were it was me, Derek, Zach Vac, and BW07507 in Fantastic Cow. Fantastic Cow was in the house too. And those are all No Limit guys, for those guys that don't know who they are. Fantastic Cow, you might remember from my play money prop bet where he tried to lose money to me. So we were in the house, me and Derek are talking about hookers. And obviously as poker players, you know, hookers is a popular topic. Hookers, drugs, you guys know how things go. So this is a contest we came up with, is that we were arguing who had sex better, me or Derek. And Derek was like, I have sex better than you. I'm like, no, I have sex better than you. So we're like, why don't we get a girl here and we both have sex with her, and then we bet $5,000 on it, and whoever wins. And yeah, have you ever done something like you don't do things like that?
No, I've never done anything like that. Nobody's done something like that except for you and Derek. That's the weird. I mean, that is hilarious.
Yeah, it was just hilarious. It was a story I thought of as we were discussing that. Because
okay, so who won the bet? Obvious next question.
Well, the next time I saw Derek, he was texting with this young girlfriend. We were in Florida, and me, him, and BW07 were in Florida, where we were talking, and I'm like, oh, why don't we do that contest? And he's like, I'm kind of talking to this girl right now from back home, and he's been talking to that girl for 3.5 years now, or something like that. They've been together. You probably have heard of her before. So, unfortunately, we have not had a chance to do that contest yet. But I think before we turn like 40, we're probably going to do it. And I'm very confident I'm going to win. So, but that just brought me back on Derek. Derek's not playing poker right now. I think he's in school, right?
Yeah, he is.
He's trying to. You inspired him to go to school. You inspired him to try to get a job.
He texts me sometimes. And he's like, I got an A in calculus or something. Way to go, buddy.
I'm always happy when Derek does well. I'm very happy to hear that Derek kind of got out of a little bit out of his degenerate phase. I'm sure he still has his degenerate phase in him, but
yeah, he got rid of most of it. He still had a couple moments while I was staking him, but he got a lot better.
I was there for some of his degenerate moments in San Diego, and it was quite interesting. Ryan asked, what's up, Ryan? He says, how big is your stable right now? Do you have a big stable as a lot of people?
No. So Black Friday, like, crushed it, basically because most of my guys couldn't play anymore. I had a ton of guys from the U.S., and, like, the guys overseas, I had no way to get money because I don't have a Skrill because it's not allowed in Illinois. So, like, I had to do bank wires, and most banks don't like that. So that was, like, really annoying. To the point where I was like, I got a lawyer, and I was like, here's what I'm doing. Can you, like, tell me whether this is legal or not based on UIGEA or whatever? And the guy's like, yeah, this is fine. You're, like, not playing poker, right? I'm like, no. Guys overseas are playing legally in countries where it's legal to play, and I'm investing in their play. He's like, yeah, that's fine. So he, like, gives me this whatever. Anyways, so I had to, like, find a bank who would take bank wires, basically, to do business. So, but that sucks too, because now I got to pay, like, exchange rate, and, like, when instead of, like, money going from stars on their account to my account, to me, it goes, like, stars to their bank, which is in a different currency, to my bank, which is in a different currency. So I'm paying, like, stupid exchange rates at every hop. So anyways, I have, 4 guys now? I just lost my 5th guy, like, a month ago. So I got 4 guys. I've staked them for years. They're awesome players. I, like, don't have to worry about them. It's hard adding new guys too. So, like every time I add a new guy, it's, like, at least 6 months I'm worried about whether or not he's gonna, like, blow the whole bankroll.
Yeah.
Because he got drunk. It's happened more times than I would like to talk about.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Brian BW07's watching. He says his girlfriend says hello. Hi Becca, how are you? I miss you and Brian. I'm glad you guys are still alive and you're gonna get married soon. Could be good or bad. Chiprick, what's up, Chiprick? He says most least favorite stocks. What's your most favorite stocks? What's your least favorite stocks?
Okay. If he's asking what stock to buy, the answer is always SPY. You're not going to beat the market, so just buy the S&P 500 and then you own everything. That's worth owning at least. But if I had to buy something right now, like 6 months ago, I was saying Facebook. That's the last stock that I bought, mainly because my mom was using it and like all my aunts, and I was like, okay, Facebook sucks now, so they're going to start making money. So this is a good stock to buy. And it's up like 20% since then because they decided to stop being cool. But that's not really a great buy right now. I don't know. Amazon just went down like, what, $30 today? That's a great buy long term, I think. They don't make any money because Bezos spends $25 billion a quarter on development and that kind of stuff. So I'm always a big fan of them. And then Google and Apple. I mean, I buy the companies that have the smartest people in charge. So that's the heavy-hitting tech guys.
So you bought Facebook when it was at this 72, 63 a share type of deal?
No, I got in at 62, I think.
Oh my God. Sick life.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Sick life. Oh, wow. Whoa, okay. Okay. So what's your number one recommendation right now for us out there that might be trying to recreate this? This looks like your old PTR graph right now. Just go straight up. Well, so what's the one buy if we're degenerates right now?
What's that?
What's the one buy you'd suggest? Number one, Facebook right now?
No. Well, for how long? Are we talking like buy and hold for 10 years, which is how you should trade stocks, or are we talking about buy and then sell in 6 months, or sell in like a week, like stupid people trade
6 months. Stupid people.
Even 6 months is too short. I would say, yeah, man, you just got to buy SPYs. That's the only thing. If you really want to know what stock I think you should buy SPY.
Okay. Chiprick asks Tesla.
What about it?
Tesla question mark, Tesla question mark, question mark.
I'm like, okay, so a year ago I would have had a ton to say about Tesla, but since I don't own it, it's not like on my radar as much as it was when like my trading group was like trading it every day. I don't know. Tesla's like this company that does awesome because Elon Musk gets the government to pay for everything he does, right? That's why that guy's, I mean, okay, fine. PayPal made him a ton of money. The government didn't pay for that. But like all his solar stuff and Tesla, the government pays for that. So that's like a huge plus for them. But like the question about Tesla is whether or not they'll be broad enough with like these charging stations or whatever. Like, can they get that in every gas station in the country? I don't know. I haven't been following it enough lately to give like a legitimate answer. But those are the kind of things that I'd be thinking of if I was thinking about buying Tesla. Those cars are sweet. I like them a lot. As far as whether or not they'll like be the Ford Model T of our era, I don't know.
Do you have a car right now? Do you not have a car?
No, we do not own a car. I own a parking spot, but no car to fill it. I walk.
We don't really need a car in the city for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I walk to work. I use car share. There's like a garage next door that I can get a car from anytime I want. And we rent cars on the weekend if we're driving to like Michigan. My wife's from Michigan. So if we do that, I just rent a car.
What's a car share? What's that?
So you've heard of Zipcar? You know what that is?
Vaguely, yeah.
Okay. We use enterprise version of Zipcar. It's basically you pay a monthly subscription. I think it's not a lot. And then every time you want to rent a car, it's like $8 an hour. And you can drive it wherever you want. That includes gas, so I like it.
Wow.
And they have spots all over the city. Like within 4 blocks of me, there's probably 12 cars at 6 different locations. So
what area are you living in the city?
I'm in River North.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. You ever been to a place called Union Sushi and Barbecue?
Yeah, I live across the street from that.
I was across the street from your house 2 nights ago.
Should have hit me up, man.
I didn't know you lived fucking right by Spy Bar. You live by Spy Bar too?
Yeah. So my balcony, my window for my bedroom is outside of the alley for Spy Bar, which somehow people find a way to party there on like Monday and Tuesday nights year round. So it's not the best situation.
Wait a second. Your balcony overlooks the Spy Bar balcony when you go outside. Like, so you walk up the stairs, everyone hangs out there and smokes.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god. I want to go watch it on your balcony. The only people are, that's like the biggest, like one of the biggest drug bars in Chicago.
I'm sure it is. I don't think I've ever been inside.
I mean, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite places to go, obviously, but not anymore. When I was in my heyday, that was one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah, that's not really my scene.
You're more like a Gibson Steakhouse kind of guy, like a.
I do like a good steakhouse. I don't know. I like all types of bars, but clubs are definitely last on my list. Like I need to be in a club mood to go to a club, and I'm not in a club mood very often.
Not anymore, because you're married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that put an end to that.
my boy Manage Uppsala asks, this can actually say a ton about a guy. Oh, so please acknowledge this question. All right, buddy. What shows on TV does he watch? I'm guessing Suits, maybe HOC. House of Cards. He says he thinks you might watch Suits or House of Cards. Do you watch much TV, and if so, what shows do you watch?
No, I try not to watch too much TV. I watch sports more than anything. But when I do watch a show, we watch Walking Dead. That's awesome. I watched Breaking Bad. That was like the last show. No, yeah, Walking Dead and Breaking Bad are like the only shows like I watch when they're on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once in a while someone will say, "Hey, this show's good, check it out." But in general, I try not to get into too many TV shows. It's such a waste of time. Like when I was on my mega grind, I don't think I watched TV at all for like years.
Yeah, I'm the same. I haven't watched much TV. I barely watch TV. I actually put a TV in my living room, unfortunately. So now when I like work out and cook, I don't cook. I have a chef now. But when I was cooking, I was watching a lot of TV. But I had to. I'm not cooking anymore. Do you cook? You don't cook probably. You don't. I don't think you're a cooker.
You're wrong. I'm a big cook.
No.
Oh yeah. My whole family, everybody cooks. So my mom's Italian, so I know how to cook. So like for example, when I was not working for those 5 months, I cooked every meal. So like my wife would come home and I have a hot dinner ready for her.
What?
Yeah,
no
man.
way.
Dude, I love to cook.
What the? I never would have. You put $1 million on that. I wouldn't have said no. Jeez. So are you cooking often now, or is it more the?
No, so she quit her job recently, so she's doing all the cooking, and it's actually been awesome. But yeah, I really like to cook. As long as I get to eat some of the food, I have no problem cooking.
It's awesome. What about a couple people asked about Bitcoin. Boldy and Virgil said, yeah. What about Bitcoin? Because I guess
I got no opinions on that.
You what?
I have no opinion on that. Like I don't follow it at all.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure how prevalent it is in your industry or the people that you hang out with or the people you work with.
Nobody talks about it. Sure. When it was like taken off, I was following it closely, and I knew a lot about it, and now I feel like I'm so uninformed that my input would be just useless.
Okay, I'm looking at some comments right now. Hey, Poppy, what's up, Tan? Damn, ZepHendrix, stay at home. Dankness, what's up, Dankness? Dankness says, what up, Zep?
Thank you. What's up, man?
Dankness is a very popular live stream regular. He's been on a live stream 5 times. We had him on an official podcast, a 2-parter. And do you have a Jungle Man impression?
What's that?
Do you have a Jungle Man impression for us?
Oh no, I don't.
It's too bad. We love a Jungle Man impressions. We actually had Jungle Man on. He did a Jungle Man impression, so it was kind of perfect.
How was it? Pretty good.
His Jungle Man impression was good. He's gonna go himself. Yeah.
It was good.
We were surprised, but it was actually pretty good. Do you? Johnny says, do you don't think electronic currency is the future?
I'm not saying that. what I'm saying is I don't know enough about it to even like comment or speculate on it.
Hmm. What did someone say? I'm going up against our live stream's going up against the World Series. I don't care, man. Fuck it. I like a challenge. What are you doing tonight? Are you doing anything tonight with the wife?
No, Fridays like we do stuff on Friday a lot, but usually I'm so tired from working all week, especially since I started this new job. I haven't gotten my feet set yet really, so I'm like scrambling most of the day, and it's like stressful. And when I get home, man, especially on Friday, I'm beat. Like I wouldn't mind. Like we'll go out if there's something fun to do. Most of the time we'll like go out to eat, but in general, like I just want to like watch a movie and drink some scotch and chill.
Yeah, just hang out. No, it's Nord actually. It seems like a big question. What do you think of $4,000 video courses for trading? I've heard you can learn there what guys at hedge funds learn. For me, it's difficult to the right information to learn from.
I don't know what course you're talking about, and I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like a total scam. So like I don't know if you ever see those like infomercials about options where they're like, you can make money if the stock goes up or down. Just buy our course. Like that shit is all bullshit. I mean, that's like technically true given the definition of options, but those courses don't teach you anything other than what an option is. They don't teach you how to make money. Like there's no like magic recipe. Everybody wants this like magic like solution to making money in the stock market. Guess what? There isn't one. Like if there was, then like the shops like us would absorb all of that edge before you even had a chance to sniff it. So like anytime you pay money for like information on how to make money, you're almost always getting taken, in my opinion.
Hmm.
If someone had a secret to making money, certainly they would just perform that secret all day long.
Yeah. They would not share that information with other people. They'd be making money themselves.
Right.
So, do you know Kalizitan?
Yeah.
You know him in real life, like a
Oh,
actual.
in real life? No, I thought like I'm familiar with him. Obviously,
Oh.
he was
Okay, I
the
was gonna
best
say, can
player
we
in
get
my games when I started playing.
I was gonna say we need to get him on a live stream if he exists, if he's a real person.
Oh, he's a real person.
Yeah, he's yeah. What time is it right now? How long have we been going for?
An hour.
An hour and 4 minutes. I'm gonna talk a bit about some 2+2 topics, poker community topics, and then we're gonna get going because I gotta eat food. I'm starving as fuck. And I'm sure I'll give you some time to relax. I don't want to take up too much of your time here. I know you're a busy kid. So looking at 2+2, do you have any favorite 2+2ers that you enjoyed their post maybe a bit more than other people's posts?
Yeah. All time, Van Veen is like the greatest poster in 2+2 history. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff. He's like super old school, but like it's so good that I would say like if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to search it right now because like he used to like go into high stakes threads and post and like end the thread every time he posted. He's just like total next level genius type stuff. So he's definitely my favorite poster.
How do you spell his name?
Van, V-A-N, Veen, V-E-E-N. I don't know if there's a space or not, but like take the hour or whatever to look through his posts. He actually, I searched all his posts once, and he had a bunch of ones on like relationship or whatever, which like I never read those, but like his poker strategy is like even to this day you would benefit from reading it. And it was, I mean, some of that stuff's like 5 years old. So yeah, he's awesome. Let's see, in like mid-high full ring, I mean, there were so many dudes that I used to think were awesome. Nobody posts there anymore from like back in the day, but yeah, so I guess that's kind of irrelevant. But now there's some good dudes in there like DGAF, like posts super in-depth analysis all the time. He's really good. In high stakes PLO, there's a ton of really good posters, especially for strategy. Like JAOP always does like awesome analysis, like does the math that nobody wants to do, solves the problem for you. I appreciate that. There's a bunch of good guys in mid stakes on the limit, but I haven't been in that forum in so long that I don't even remember who they are. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten so much out of 2+2. Like, that's one of the reasons I like did the well and like try to at least go back to mid-high full ring and like post on awful live hands once in a while, just because like I got so much out of that site that like I feel like I owe it to give it back and pay it forward and that kind of stuff.
Do you have any posters on 2+2 or PokerStars regulars you remember actively not liking and wanting to punch in the face?
Oh yeah, Second Chance. Do you remember that guy? He used to like post about like drunk driving and how he was like good at it, and like how he drove better drunk, and it just, oh my god, it made me so mad. I could not stand whoever that person is. He's just the worst person. I hope he was trolling. I really do, but I don't think he was. He was the worst. Oh, and Travis Petty, he's listening. When I first started, he used to troll me like nonstop, but now we're friends, so it's cool.
Do you know his sister at all?
No.
Do you think it'd be smart of us for one of us to try to?
He's actually moving to Chicago.
I know.
He got a job.
To engage in a type of a sexual relationship with his sister.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about that, but
if you were
I'll
me,
be sure to give him shit about it when I undoubtedly see him soon.
If you were me, would you do it? What do you think?
Yeah, to Petty's sister, definitely.
Yeah.
You got to take that opportunity.
I think
he can never troll you again if you do that. If he ever trolls you, you can be like, I fucked your sister. And then it's over. And then he has to stop trolling you forever.
Well, I'll know what I'll talk to him about next time I see him. But was he moving to Chicago? He mentioned he's getting a job here trading, I believe. Is that correct? I think that's right.
Yeah, it is. I talked to him like a couple weeks ago, so he's moving here.
Petty theft.
Yeah, petty theft in the house.
I miss him. Petty theft. I miss you, my friend. Me and him played basketball one time in San Diego, and I couldn't breathe anymore. I was out of shape, so I miss him. All right. I don't think you have any thoughts on that. Thoughts on Amaya buying PokerStars out in the recent news about cutting back VIP awards? You've been following up with that at all?
No. What's happening? I'll definitely have an opinion.
It appears that for the top grinders for the Supernova Elites that they took away the $5,000 W Scoop T Coop ticket. So for now on, you don't get that. And they also added in some type of currency vig now. I don't know too much about it, so I can't comment on that. But the main change from the VIP program was the one I just said, where they took away that $5,000 bonus.
All right. I don't play there anymore, so for people listening who do, please don't get offended. But this is like a totally unbiased opinion because I'm not playing. Like the fact that they have rewards like they do still is like mind-boggling to me because they are the only legitimate site to play on where there's like decent action. Like you can play on Euro sites, but you're never gonna get like the kind of action that Stars gives, especially for Supernova Elites who are actually achieving that, right? Where else are you gonna go and play like 1.5 million hands of 1-2 in a year? Guess what? There's nowhere else you can do that. So like the fact that they effectively pay you to make money for them that you're going to make for them anyways is like, in my opinion, a bonus. So I'm not surprised that they're doing it. If like this happened in 2010, I definitely would have been one of the people like fighting it. But like if you think about it from their perspective as a business, I'm surprised it took this long.
I want to talk about it.
Yeah, I know it sucks. I'm sorry for everybody who plays, but like I'm not surprised at all. Like they have all you guys by the balls, and that's just how it is. That's business.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised at all. I'm surprised that happened sooner. But what I'm surprised is that why I haven't thought about it too much. I don't know too much of how this side of things works, but I don't understand how there's not a site that's kind of taken the PokerStars model and duplicated it and at least presented themselves as a competitor. I mean, you have all these other sites that, Party Poker, 888, On Game. I mean, they're not legitimate competitors at all at PokerStars, and that still surprises me that no one stepped up and tried to make their site good. I just don't get it.
I totally agree. I mean, it's a huge industry. I mean, what's PokerStars' revenue? It's in the billions, right?
I think it is, yeah.
I mean, I would be a buyer at $1 billion for sure. But I mean, if you think about how big that market is, and like how much money there is, and basically all the costs are like on the front end. Like you just have to build the software, right? And then you've got a site, and then you've got to fill it with players. So like if you could build some awesome software, there's really no barrier to you entering that market and just being a big player. I mean, obviously that you would have to advertise a ton and say, hey, come play here, but I agree. It seems like something that would be easy to set up, although expensive, but like would be extremely lucrative.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it's going to take before we start seeing something from stars, is that competition, somebody coming up with a model that is equally as potentially successful, and until that happens, then I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's only going to get worse and worse for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, well, the rakeback might get worse and worse, but the games could get better. I mean, you don't know. If they add these casinos, or whatever they're talking about adding, actual gambling, think about how many more people that brings to the site. Now, while it might make poker players with money on stars go play craps instead, it also might bring in a guy who plays craps to the site and like give him the opportunity to sit at your 10-20 PLO table. So you don't know what kind of effect that'll have.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Actually, I know a lot of people have been saying that they think that the casino is going to have a bad impact on it. But like you said, I think it might actually not be the worst thing. Obviously, you're going to have some people that vice versa, would play cash, and now they're losing money at these. But I also think you're going to get a lot of people who really trust PokerStars, and now they're like, oh wait, here's a casino I can comfortably gamble on. I'm going to put some money on there, and then they're like, oh, I'm also going to play poker. And I mean, if they ever have sports betting on there, then I don't know if that's in the works, but if they ever have sports betting on there, then that could take it to it could be interesting. I mean, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think sports betting would definitely be better for poker players than like a casino, because the more likely scenario is the guy's like, all right, I want to put $1,000 on whatever game. And then they put $1,000 on the game, and they're like, "Oh, I got $500 left. I will go sit at 2-5 Zoom and lose this real quick while I lose my $1,000."
Thinking about it, if they made the rakeback a lot worse, that would actually be good for the good players. That's not a bad thing. I mean, okay, so hypothetically, if you're a guy who's winning a bunch of money or in the games that you're playing, say you're playing, I mean, this is talking about reasonable stakes. So let's say I'm a winning 2, 4, 3, 6, 5, 10 player, 10, 20 player. If they cut rakeback, that'd probably be a good thing. You'd be honest, I mean, that would be a good thing for the upper echelon of regs, I think.
That's an interesting thought. I haven't thought about that, but I could see. So yeah. So what would effectively happen is the 24 tablers who make $80,000 a year in rakeback, right? Mm-hmm. Those guys are now losing players.
Right.
They can no longer play. So the fish to reg ratio goes up and makes you money. So yeah, it could be a good thing.
Or the guys who 24 table and can't win, now they 8 table and break even.
Like, how many times has that happened where like some supernova elite's like, all right, forget this 1-2. I know you're one of the guys. You're one of the guys. They go play like 25-50, and then they win like $500,000 in like 6 months. I've seen it happen like 10 times, because every time it happens, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not doing that? But yeah, it happens. That could happen too, Joe. So be careful what you wish for.
I mean, I don't really necessarily wish for anything. It's just like when people are complaining about this and that and this and that, I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much strategy for this one already. This one's already got enough strategy in it. I'm not even going to say that statement. I just wanted to stay. Tim Stone says there are no really 24 tablers anymore. I'm sure there's people still living off rakeback. There are rakeback grinders that are.
There's no 24 tablers?
I mean, according to Tim Stone, he says there's no 24 tablers anymore.
He would know.
He would know. He's in the streets. I mean, he's not necessarily playing the table.
Trenches. I'm up here just watching.
Yeah, he's usually not 24 tabling. He's usually bum hunting with his fast skate script, but yeah, I'm gonna get some healthy food. By healthy food, I mean it's Friday night, so I'm gonna order a pizza. I'm very excited about that. So, Jimmy, thanks for coming on, my friend.
No problem.
Appreciate the conversation. guys in the live stream had a lot of great questions. I know I didn't get to all of them. If you have any questions you want to ask Jim, at Twitter, at ZepHendrix. It's linked on my Twitter page. And if you have something, you can maybe get in touch with him. If he's got some time, he can respond back. If he's busy, he's not going to respond back. But yeah, Jimmy at ZepHendrix, me at JoinRoom1, and next podcast will be sometime next week. I believe I'm going to do it with Lyman, who is a longtime 2+2er, a high stakes, no limit guy, who more of a live player, a bit older, does his own podcast, and we are going to make some magic happen. So yeah, Jim, I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Good luck, good luck. Let me know how, if you get back into playing some more PLO. I'm going to be excited to play with you one day and see how we can play together.
All right, thanks, Joey.
It'll be fun. I'll see you later, man.
Later.
Live stream, guys. Peace out.